Hey everybody, it's Kelly. First of all, thanks for being on my email list. I wanted to do something different today with a video blog. I have a concept, and if you read my blog post or my email from last week, you know that I've been called to feel the pain. And it has been a theme that I have not let go of. I've been thinking about it all week since I had this breakthrough. And being called to feel the pain or face the darkness has been amazing. So I've kind of turned it into a concept, or I'm working on turning it into a concept. And I wanted to share it with you guys first because I actually got more feedback from that email about accepting the pain and embracing the pain and working through it. Because I think a lot of us have gotten really good at disassociation, whether it's turning towards Facebook or wine or ice cream or whatever it is for you. And really the only way out is through. So I wanted to share some of my thoughts on how to embrace this and what it means for our comfort zone. So as you can see here on my whiteboard, I have a dot that represents you or me or us. So this is our person. And around us is our comfort zone. And so often we hear that all growth occurs outside of our comfort zone. Push yourself, get out of your comfort zone. That's where life begins. And so I think a lot of times when we think about our comfort zone, we're thinking about what's available to us if we push forward, if we push towards what we want. And so there's some examples here about what getting out of your comfort zone might look like for you. So some of the common examples are joining a networking group that maybe you don't know anybody, but there's some really good, powerful connections or colleagues that might be available to you. So that would be bringing up sort of feelings of nervousness or possibility or excitement. Maybe it's trying a new class at the gym. Maybe you've plateaued in your fitness and you want to try a new class and you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone physically just to see if you can reach that new breakthrough in your health and fitness. Maybe it's in your business and there's a really great proposal or contract that you want to go after and you don't quite feel qualified for it, but you're going to put yourself out there anyway. You're going to put your hat in the ring anyway to see what happens. And those are all really good examples of getting outside of our comfort zone as we push towards what we want. But if we're only pushing towards what we want, what happens is we get top heavy. Because there's this other part of our comfort zone. It's the under arc, it's the underbelly, and it's what you can see here under this black line. And it's the things that make us uncomfortable that don't necessarily bring up things that we like or things that we want to get better at. So some examples that I use here are having a hard conversation that might actually start a pretty big fight with your spouse. Maybe it's something you've been avoiding and you've been choosing to stay comfortable by avoiding the conversation, or maybe even lying about something that lets them stay in the lie with you. And I know outside of that comfort zone is a breakthrough for both of you. Maybe part of what you're going to get better at outside of your comfort zone is accepting criticism or really looking at a hard truth. Maybe things have gotten out of control in your parenting and maybe things are off whack between you and one of your children. Maybe it's in your finances. You want to make some tough decisions in your finances. There's a lot of ways that we brush things under the rug, and maybe it's time to peel the layers off and really look at that hard truth and get uncomfortable with it. Maybe you've been too accommodating. Maybe you've let other people take advantage of you or railroad you, and you've been avoiding conflict, so you haven't set boundaries or honored boundaries for yourself. And this is another way that we can get outside of our comfort zone in a way that's not necessarily going to feel good. When I talk about embracing the pain and facing the darkness and looking at the shadows, this is where that happens, is under this underbelly of our comfort zone. And the reason this is important is because all growth always grows relative to the degree that we're willing to expand and contract. So we can't grow this way towards the growth, towards what we want, if we're not willing to grow this way. Do you see the difference? So if we want to have an extreme growth towards what we want, towards better results, we have to be willing to look at the darkness, because it's only by shoring up this foundation, the things that we're not quite proud of, and really looking at those areas and getting to work on these areas, that growth over here is possible, because it all grows, expands and contracts relative to one another. So if you feel like you've plateaued over here in your growth, the next logical place to look, and it's not comfortable and it's not sexy and it's not something that a lot of people in personal development want to talk about, but the next stage of your growth probably lives over here in the shadows and in the underbelly of where your comfort zone is. So I'm going to give you guys some homework tonight. And if you'd like to share some feedback with me or any breakthroughs, I would love it, because again, I'm looking at turning this into a concept for one of my programs. So if you're up for it, I invite you to really consider, just sit down, turn around, face, look it in the eyes, your problem, look at that thing you've been running from, and think about what becomes possible for you if you're willing to address it and get to work on it and be uncomfortable with it and being okay in the overwhelm of it. Because remember, the way out is through. So get to work, and if you want to share some feedback or insights, I'd love to hear them. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great weekend.